The car of her husband, Richard, was parked on a sidewalk in an unusual area. What was he doing there? Claire approached and with great apprehension looked out the window. What she saw shocked her. Driven by a strange sensation, she approached with uncertain steps. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She didn't know what to think. Before we continue, I invite you to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future stories. Good vision. Lewis was a thin student with glasses. He had never been a troublemaker and never skipped class. His passion for physics often kept him absorbed in his thoughts. Claire, on the other hand, was a lively and carefree girl, not inclined to notice the shy boy who always sat at the back of the class. In that warm and sunny May, however, something changed. During a physics lesson, their eyes met differently for the first time. The girl's heart began to beat loudly in her chest, and as she tried to remain calm, she realized that the young man was not looking away. The bell rang, breaking that magical moment, but the emotion remained in the air. The two boys found themselves leaving school together, talking about everything and nothing. They sat next to each other in the dark of a cinema, and when he took her hand for the first time, a shiver ran through both of them. That summer was a succession of dates, first kisses, and shy confessions. They fell madly in love with each other, promising never to separate. Lewis came from a simple family. His mother worked as a doctor at the polyclinic, while his father was an engineer. Despite their love, Claire's mother was worried about her daughter's future. "This is not the life I wanted for you," she often told her on the phone, speaking to a friend who lived in the capital. This friend proposed to send the girl to the University of New York, offering to host her at her home. When she returned home from yet another appointment with Lewis, her mother decided to address the issue directly. "I understand that you and Lewis are in love, but think about it. You deserve better. There is no future for you here." She, embarrassed, tried to answer, but her mother's words hurt her. The woman had already bought tickets for New York, and so, without having much time to reflect, Claire found herself packing her bags. The two young lovers promised each other that the distance would not affect their love, and initially it seemed to work. They wrote sweet messages to each other, full of affection and nostalgia, but life in New York was different, frenetic, and full of new opportunities. The girl's mother and her friend did everything they could to make her settle down and forget Lewis. Every time the young woman returned home for the holidays, however, the meeting with her boyfriend was cold and distant. Their hearts no longer beat in unison as before. 2 years later, Claire married Richard, a boy who her mother had always considered a good match. Richard's parents were wealthy and gave the newlyweds an apartment in the center as a wedding gift. The young bride's life seemed perfect: a caring husband, a lovely daughter, a well-paid job, and a luxurious house. But despite everything, she often thought back to Lewis and the carefree days of high school. It was a spring day, with the sun gently filtering through the windows of the half-empty bar. The girl had stopped for a quick coffee during her lunch break, trying to shake off the daily routine. When her eyes fell on a man sitting at a nearby table, her heart skipped a beat. The slightly disheveled hair, the gaze concentrated on a book. It was Lewis. Despite the years that had passed, she immediately recognized that face that she had never really forgotten. A whirlwind of emotions overwhelmed her: amazement, joy, nostalgia, and a spark of love that never faded. In that instant, the whole world seemed to stop. Those lunches became a habit, and every time they saw each other, the sparks between them would shine again. They found themselves in love again like in high school, but this time, their love was more mature and deeper. One afternoon, while Claire was slowly walking home, reflecting on how monotonous her life had become, she noticed something that made her stop suddenly. Her husband's car was parked on the sidewalk in an area where he shouldn't have been. Driven by a strange sensation, she approached with uncertain steps, her heart pounding in her chest. If you like the story, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other exciting stories. Thank you. Through the window, she saw Richard leaning towards a young woman, their lips joined in a passionate kiss. The betrayal unfolded before her eyes in all its rawness, and a wave of pain, anger, and disbelief overwhelmed her, making her feel as if the ground had been ripped out from under her feet. Back home, Claire waited for Richard to return, with her heart beating fast and 1,000 thoughts crowding her mind. When he finally crossed the threshold, his serene expression seemed like a hypocritical mask to her. With a firm voice, but full of pain and determination, she told him that she had seen everything. The man's words, a bitter and resigned confession, only confirmed what his wife had feared. She felt the weight of years of lies and a love that never truly blossomed. Claire told Richard that the time had come to live their truth. It is better for everyone that each of us lives with those we truly love, she declared, feeling that finally she was choosing happiness, her own and that of those dear to her. The young woman ran to Lewis, without hiding and without fearing the judgment of others. "I have come to you forever, and my daughter has decided to live with me," she told him, her heart pounding. He, happy, replied that they would find a bigger apartment, and together they would build the life they had always dreamed of. In the end, Lewis and Claire's true and profound love triumphed over every obstacle. Despite time and distance, their feelings had remained intact. Indeed, they had strengthened. Their story teaches that authentic love overcomes all difficulties, and that living without love is meaningless. And have you ever experienced such an intense and overwhelming love story?